What's up? Colton, Lindsay here, coming at you live. The WGR Live on my Facebook channel where I get to say whatever it is I want to say. Ultimately today, though, a message that I know I probably could have delivered much sooner to my audience. I just been resisting it. That's the reality of it, so I apologize. Cody, what's up? Thanks for coming on. Hit that share bucket. Hit the share button. You know I'm getting real deal when I got the markers out and I got the notepad up and I'm about to share. I'm about to throw it out there. Shauna Overman, thanks for being on. Congratulations on saving $7,000 with Dustin. That's insane in the membrane. Make sure to hit that like button. What I want to talk to you guys today is about the real war. There is an actual war going on. I'm not talking like ISIS and North Korea. I'm talking like an eternal war going on between the good and the evil right now. Good energy versus negative energy. It's extremely real. In the advancement of the negative energy is moving at a rapid pace now more than ever. And it doesn't have to move that quickly for you. In fact, it can be really slowed up and really accelerated with the good energy, with the positive vibrations, with the energy that creates everything. I want you to write this down, okay? Life is not happening to you or against you. It's happening through you and for you. Oftentimes, if you feel stuck in your existence, in your life, it's because you're not letting the experience move through you, right? For example, how many of you before have had a broken heart? I think at some time in our entire life, we had that guy or that gal that broke our heart in two, right? And for a little while, it took some time in order to move on with our lives. I look at one of the times that I had my heart broken into two. I literally would wake up at like 4 in the morning and just go running because that was the only thing that felt good for me, right? Because I was so stuck on getting rejected, on getting denied, on getting my heart broken, on losing that one love of my life. How wrong was I now that I've met my wife and have my awesome family and my epic life? But at the time, I was stuck on this idea that this girl in the past was gone from me forever, and it hurt, right? Maybe you've had a loved one pass away, someone die, and it takes some time to actually naturally go through that mourning process. That is getting stuck. But if you process the emotion, it will pass through you and you'll be able to move on with your life, okay? Unfortunately, I'm seeing now more than ever people getting stuck in their lives, getting stuck in their existence. And I believe there is a reason why, and I'm going to share it with you. Number one, I have the belief that there is a group of individuals, organized group of individuals on the planet that have actually created systems and processes to capture you, to capture your soul, so to speak, in the sense of constantly giving you this appearance and this illusion that life is happening to you and against you. Let me give you several examples. Recently, we had a hurricane just off in the Gulf Coast, took out Houston, right? Houston is flooded right now. Is that any surprise to us as individuals that a hurricane hitting a city is going to cause massive destruction? It's no surprise to any of us. Does it suck for Houston? Absolutely. Have we seen all over social media people putting forth an effort to serve that community? Absolutely. My question to you is, and I'm not trying to discount anyone that's serving Houston right now, continue to serve Houston, but why do we have to wait until the problem starts and arises to start serving a community, right? Why do we have to wait? Okay? We don't have to wait to start giving back on a high level. That's the secret to allow life to happen through you and for you. Okay? Serve others in a high level, in a high way. Okay. Information moves extremely fast, extremely quick. I want you to go back 20 years from now. 20 years from now, we lived in the 90s. It was 1997. We had AOL. We had dial-up internet. We were just barely starting to learn to play Snake on MS-DOS. Do you remember that? Most of you watching this didn't even have a freaking cell phone in 1997. And yet now we're able to talk with you from here in my basement, in my home studio, to wherever the fuck you is, and just translate this information. Yeah, Shauna says AOL Instant Messenger, okay? AOL, who remembers AOL Instant Messenger? Give me a yes in the comments if that was you, my friend. I had it. So moving forward here we are, 2017. The speed of information is lightning right now. So now all of a sudden this hurricane in in Houston, in the hurricane coming towards Florida, and the hurricane going through the islands in the Caribbean, right? Now that information sends to you at a much quicker speed than ever before. Much quicker than the 90s, much quicker than the 70s, much quicker than the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, much quicker than the 1800s and the 1500s, clear back to, before Christ, right? Energy flows extremely quick now, okay? So here's where it's hurting you. Here's where it's harming you. You are spending way too much fucking time for a human being on a digital platform. And I'm part of this problem here. Now, the real challenge isn't that we are now spending way too much on the internet, on the digital connection. I mean, we literally are transmutating from human beings to technological beings. We don't even, the reality is now we are living a majority of our human existence in a digital realm, and our digital realm will go on forever. As far as I understand, as far as I am concerned, digital technology will continue to advance, okay? But how does this harm you? How does this hurt you? 65% of Americans today either wake up or go to bed with a cell phone in their hand, in their fucking hand, okay? But what information is coming from you, from the device to you on the cellular device or on the laptop or on the iPad or the whatever, right? You turn on Facebook today, you turn on the news, and guess what? It's dramatized news. It's the flood. It's the hurricane. Yesterday it was the war with North Korea. Before that was what President did with DACA. Before that was when remember the election last year? All the attention, the tension building up from the election. Guess what, guys? This is no new thing that's happening with inside of what's called our social dynamics. Now, some of you have heard of this before, because I know a lot of your real estate salespeople. It's something called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And I always have people ask me, hey, can you teach me NLP? And they're always thinking that NLP is an action item. The reality is it's a language, okay? Neuro Linguistic Programming is what it stands for. Hit the share button if you're learning anything, if you feel the energy, if you feel the excitement, go ahead and share this. Hey, Brad Lancaster, thanks for popping up. Neuro-linguistic programming is how our neurolinguistics work. We have little sparks of information, little lines of electrical currents running through our brain. I mean, think about this. When our heart dies, when our heart stops beating, you can shock it and it comes back to life through electrical currents. Okay, so that's that's electrical energy that is moving through your body that operates and it creates this way of thinking for you. And these thoughts, okay, it creates thoughts. Okay, I'll write this down. Oh, I can't get my thing open. Thoughts are created. Okay, and from the thoughts, it leads to what's next? Emotions. Okay. We are constantly full of emotions, okay? So it's our linguistics that control our thoughts, that control our emotions, that control our actions and our manifestations. So therefore, with a large amount of negative energy flowing at a quicker pace than ever before because of digital technology, what do you think the thoughts are growing amongst humanity? Well, it doesn't have to grow amongst you, but it is growing amongst a lot of people. I literally have people text to me or message me, or I see on their Facebook page that they're posting about some sort of fear, okay? We all have it, true or true, but yes, in the comments, if you know about this, that we all have fears. If you've experienced fear of death, fear of running out of money, fear of losing money, fear of fires, hurricanes, the end of the world, whatever it is, we are full of fears, and that information is passing through digital technology at a rate that we are absorbing. So look at this. Look at this, okay? Information, okay, we'll call it info. It goes into our human brain, okay? It goes right into us. right into our human brain. Now, if you're spending a lot of time on technology, which I know you are, I know you're like a lot like me, the fear of not meeting Uncle C. You'll be able to meet me next March once you join Financial Freedom Nation, my friend, because we're going to be having a mastermind next spring. So info's going into us. You're on Facebook. You're on the news. You're on Instagram. You're on Tumblr. You're on Snapchat. You're on Google. You're on whatever. Guess what the majority of information is on the web today? It's negative energy. So the web is constantly pumping negative energy into our brains at an accelerated rate, okay? It doesn't have to, by the way. You can block yourself so that you're putting positive information into your stream, all right? You can put positive into your brain, okay, at an accelerated rate. One thing that's was important for me to appreciate and understand is we are in a digital world now. We're in a technological advancement, okay? But now, for example, why do you think there's so much more negative energy flowing into you from the internet today? Well, we'll take Houston, for example. Flooding is a pretty amazing story. It causes curiosity because it threatens a lot of our fears. It threatens the fear of losing our home, losing loved ones, having devastation, the fear of death. You know what I mean? How many people just think about this, and I've seen some reports, is that some people actually removed flood insurance from their house because they haven't had a flood in such a long time, right? It's been a while. And so they're like, you know what? We're not in a flood zone. We're going to remove it. Well, now we have a flood, right? And it flooded their house, and they've stuck with $150,000 in cleanup work for their house. That causes some anxiety, some negative energy, right? But guess what? Now, news media, even you guys on social media, I seen you sharing about, I saw James Mister sharing about all these floods, all these fires, all these shit we're doing to destroy the planet, blah, 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 and I know that we got to take care of the earth. I'm totally get that, right? But I see you all sharing this information, and guess what? That then floods to other people. That's what gains attention. Why do you think CNN wants to dramatize the negativities of Donald Trump? Why do you think that news networks want to dramatize what's going on with the floods, with the hurricanes, with the fires, with North Korea, with ISIS, with Russia, with everything that's going on? Because it draws attention, okay? So here's where it's stacked against you. The elite group of individuals, and you can't tell me they're not fucking elite. People that own the media, they are elite. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook. He is part of the elite. Why? Because he makes decisions that can directly control and affect the outcome of your life through your belief system and through the information that's flowing into your brain. You get that? Okay? So if that's the case, there are elite individuals. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg wants more people to stay on Facebook? Well, guess what? The more people stay on Facebook, the more they're spending money. They're either consuming on buying advertisements, buying the things that people are advertising, or they're spending on advertisements, right? That's what keeps Facebook growing. It grows financially. Why do you think CNN wants to put this information out? Because it puts attention onto CNN, and they can sell advertising. They can sell things that push their agenda to grow their money, right? That's happening. But someone owns Facebook, someone owns CNN, someone owns these networks, someone owns these companies, okay? And these owners and their management and their board and the individuals and the culture that's built inside of these companies is pushing a fear-based agenda simply because they know it sells, simply because it grabs you more. Now, the ability to grow a business today versus 20 years ago is exceptionally bigger today than any other time for everyone, for big companies, for small companies, for you, for me, because of technology and the flow of information. Got it? So if we know that that's what sells, attention sells, that's the new currency. We teach that in Financial Freedom Nation. How can you get attention? Now, I've fallen into the trap before. Some of my posts you see actually are posts based on DACA or maybe the president election or something that I know is going to draw attention. And so I am a part of the problem just as much as anyone else. I admit that. But it draws attention and it draws people to know my name, my brand. Everyone is doing it on a major level. Okay? But it's affecting 99% of the population, and it's making 1% of the population extremely wealthy. Extremely wealthy. Okay? The question is, are you using information, the information era in which we live in, the digital era, which, by the way, we've only been into this era for maybe 10 years, 20 years we've been working into it, but 10 years we've really been into the digital age, the information age. It's only going to accelerate even more quickly. Thanks guys for coming on. Jared, Robert, Claudia, the No Fear Zone on my Facebook wall. I love it. Brett, got a lot of awesome people on here today. Appreciate it. Click the share button. Okay? So there are elite individuals that are targeting you. But why are these elite individuals doing it? It's for greed, it's for power, it's for money, it's to fill them up. Who knows what it is? I can't speculate what it is. I just know it's happening. And I know that there is also what's called an emotional guidance skill. Okay? So when you see, how does it make you feel? When you see all of the media coverage, when it talks about war, when it talks about the floods, when it talks about the earthquakes and the fires and the negativity or whatever it is, the problems with the government, the debt ceiling, whenever you see these, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel better? Whoops, I just drew on my shirt. That sucks. Does it make you feel better? Or does it make you feel worse? Okay? And you don't need to see this if you can't see it. Don't worry about it. Does it make you feel better or does it make you feel worse? Well, my guess is negative energy makes you feel worse. So, all you have to do is control the information that goes from you or goes from the outside world, the digital linguistics, okay, and goes into your brain. That's all you have to control. It's a little bit challenging. I know it is, but when you do that, when you take control of the information going into your brain, I'm talking on a high level. What are some ways to do it? Get off your phone. When is the last time you spent 24 hours as a human being? I want you to think about this. Before the mid-2000s, or maybe even in the last 5 years, there were days where you would go without an iPod or an iPad or some sort of connection to the internet. You'd go days without doing it. Now you barely go minutes. In 10 years, you went from going days without being connected to digital technology. And before that, our moms, our dads, our grandmas, our grandpas, our great-grandparents, they went lifespans. Some of our ancestors went lifespans without this technology. Now, we can't even go minutes. How do you think a species, we are a species, how do you think a species is going to react when all of a sudden we go from being on one side of digital world to being all in on the other side, constantly connected? Well, we haven't quite adapted to it as a species. There's no possible way that an organized group of cells and membranes can adapt that quickly. It just doesn't work. So you've got to spend time disconnecting. I'm talking not just a few minutes. 15 minutes is twice a day minimum for meditation. Another 15 minutes twice a day for prayer. But try going hours without it. Try going a day without it. Try going time without being connected to this digital world. And then you're going to walk outside. And you might even go see the wildfire up close and be like, holy fuck, this is amazing. I'm on the front row seat of watching this fire. Or maybe you're in the Houston floods now. And you're thinking, holy shit. There is some power that is significantly greater than me that this is capable of. Do you think that humans, that our ego is so big that we're creating all of these problems? No, they existed before we were born. There were great fires in the early 1900s, in the 1800s. There were hurricanes. We talk about things being in recorded history. How long have we been recording hurricanes for? Less than 100 years? We're basing it off of this much data over millions of years of existence on the planet? Does that make any fucking sense to all of a sudden say now the world's going to the shit, the world's over, the world's going to the devil, blah, 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 whatever. Okay? It's not happening that way. The world is going to God. Everything is God's. Everything is this source creator that spit you into creation. You didn't ask for your heart. Your mom and dad had a thought, got a little freaky deaky going on, had an emotion, boom, they took an action and they created you. And then, not only did they create you, you had a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being that semen that then impregnated an egg, and then you blew up and you grew into a human being on here on Earth. Did you ask for that? I don't know if you did because I wasn't there before you were born. My guess is you were made a select group of choices, a habitual way of choices before you were born onto this planet. You know, here it's like, take this for example. Are homosexuals born homosexual? There's a huge debate about it. Who the fuck really knows? None of us, can't remember before we were born very well. And even if someone says they can remember before they were born, or they had a death, after death experience that came back to life, that's not, we're taking their word for it, their perception of their experience, which could be completely skewed based on their previous experiences and decisions and choices. It's not scientific at all. Okay? So we can't then continue to move forward with this negative energy agenda, because it's actually just going to suffocate your brain. It's going to create negative neural pathways, so that now, on the time that you're alive here on Earth, you're fucking afraid and miserable the entire time. And even worse, if it's my belief, this is complete theory, I have no scientific proof to back this up, just so you know. My guess is that the homosexual individual chose to be homosexual before they were born. I believe I had choices and the ability to make decisions before I was born, which means I'm going to have ability to make choices beyond my death, once I die, once I'm gone from this earth. But those choices are going to be directly affected by choices that have previously happened before them. Meaning every choice and every experience that's got me to this point on my life, on my earth, on my existence, was because of previous experiences. Now think about this. If you put a lot of information into your head, you're going to feel scattered. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel a little bit crazy sometimes, right? So just dump it out. Just let it go. That's the idea of life happening through you, not to you. Life is happening for you, for your advantage. Now, if something negative happens to your life, because we can have experiences that aren't very cool happen to us. Maybe we get robbed. Maybe we get in a car accident. Maybe you're in a plane accident. Maybe you lose a spouse or a sibling or a friend or a parent. I mean, we're all going to lose someone someday, right? This is something that then will affect our emotion. But we can let that happen through us, just like we're going to have awesome shit happen to us. We're going to hit that home run deal with our business. We're going to have a new baby. We're going to have our wedding days. We're going to have our grandchildren. We're going to have experiences that cause a lot of heightened emotion. Okay? Let that one run through you as well, because you might be stuck on a time in your life that you feel was better than it is today. Or you might be stuck in an emotion that today is the best it's ever been. Which, if you're going to be stuck there. Be stuck on how brilliant and amazing today is. Be stuck on how amazing it is that you have a heart right here in your chest, right? You got a couple eyes right here in your brain, ears, you got some limbs. Some people don't even have limbs on this earth, right? You got this stuff, and you're on a giant thing, a rock, a piece of dirt with oxygen flowing on it. 7.5 billion people on this planet. We have food in our bellies. Most of y'all got food. Most of y'all got a shelter, a place to sleep. Most of y'all got water coming in. And y'all freaking out that maybe one day there's not going to be that money or that shelter or that food or that water. Maybe there's not. I don't know. All I know is this long, in 33 years, I've never had to go without something that kept me alive. How do I know? Because I'm alive. I'm freaking alive. And being alive has got to be much better than suffering through misery. True or true? If you're going to be here and you're going to be a human being and you're going to go through this experience, why not enjoy it? Why not be amazed at, on this planet, you're floating at the exact right proportion? Think about this. I'm just drawing shit over here. Let's say this is the sun, right? We'll call this the sun, right? Now, let's say that over here, this little thing right here is what is called Earth, okay? We'll call that Earth, and we'll call this sun. We happen to be in the exact right distance between the two of these that we're able to still exist. We have sun energy feeding our planet. We have oxygen in our atmosphere. We have ability to connect and talk to other human beings and other entities and other individuals on here. We are living at an amazing time. So why don't we focus on that, guys? Why don't we focus on sharing the ahas, on supporting one another, on loving one another, and appreciating one another? Okay? There is a war between good and evil. And when we allow negative energy to flow into our brain, we are allowing evil to win this war on an individual level. However, when we focus on love and abundance and serving and giving in a huge way, and we make that energy flow into our brain, the good is winning the war. And I can promise you this, for me especially, good will always come out on top. God will always win. Universal creation will always take control of our existence. It just is that way. You didn't fucking create this thing by yourself. You may have had a hand in creating this existence, because I know you have thoughts and emotions and energies, so you're manifesting into your life certain things. But you didn't create everything. You didn't create North Korea. You didn't create the flood in Houston. We did it together, guys. We created all of this together, connected back to the source energy, which I call God, which I call my creator. Whether you want to admit it or not, somehow, some way, Earth was created, you're seeing this message, we're communicating, there's vibrations, and you have oxygen in your lungs. Got it? There's going to be a day that you're not going to exist in this form. But don't worry about that. Worry about this moment, because this moment's what's real, my man. This moment is what is fucking real. Process of running and automating your business on the back end so that you can spend more time generating appointments. Okay, these are key questions that if you ever want to just level up in your life at all, ask yourself, what's the next most important thing I got to get great at? Okay, so here's a couple of tips to do it beyond your real estate business.